from a 4 to an 8 on a scale of 10 on the air quality map. And 10 is really, really bad.
Renting a one-bedroom apartment in Vancouver now costs, on average, over $2,800 a month.
You can choose to keep a roof over your head, or you can choose to keep the lights on and eat, but you can't do both.
If you want to live in a big city like Toronto or Vancouver, it's not affordable. It really isn't.
The average one-bedroom apartment now goes for $2,250 a month.
We are in an intense heat wave right now, and it's only May. It's like 35 degrees, and that is like July, August temperature. So this is the temperature that it was last summer when I was suffering, when I was strategically parking in the shade, rolling the windows down, keeping them open, and sitting in the van all day long just to keep the cats cool. That's where we're at, and it's only May, so I'm really afraid as to how this season is going to progress. I have no idea when this heat wave is going to end and if it's going to come back right away afterwards. So I've decided that it's absolutely an emergency to get an apartment with air conditioning right now. This is the first time I've ever actually pulled over to one of these sightseeing places, and it's actually the place that I was almost run off the road. So there's that. The heat is not just a problem because it's annoying or it's dangerous for the cats. It's also that I can't get any work done. Not only am I just melting and can't even think straight, but I can't leave the van to go do things, and I have limited power because I know it's easy to think I can just plug in the solar panel and have unlimited power, but that's not how it works. Because if I'm parked in the shade, a lot of the time that means that I'm too far from the sun to leave the solar panel out. It's really complicated, and so the heat just makes it almost impossible for me to get work done. And that is why I've just decided that this has to happen. The reason I'm on the road right now is also because I've decided to go to a town that's a little more affordable to live before I start paying rent. Just pulled over for some lunch and getting back on the road. Are you ready to get back on the road? I bet you're not. We get a nice breeze when we drive, baby. It's cooler. Check this out. That's snow. Don't believe me? That is some snow. It is hot as balls and there's still snow on the ground. That's crazy. And yet, the country's on fire. How does that work? I just pulled off the highway to this absolutely stunning spot, and had a heart attack on the way in. Look at this place. It's gorgeous. Look what I did though. You see this? Hope you can see it. When I drove over this, it's a higher bump than I expected, and I heard it hit the bottom of the van, and I swear I thought I was stuck here. It's gorgeous. I was given the impression that Prince George was the cheapest place to live in BC. So I thought it would be a good idea to head up to Prince George before I rent an apartment so that it would be cheaper. I know people in Prince George, and I told them my plans, and they gave me the impression that everything was fine. So I head up north, get to Williams Lake, which is beautiful, I love it there, and stopped for the night. The next morning, I wake up, everything's beautiful. I get on the road by 5 a.m. and I head straight to Prince George. I'm excited. I have my plan. Everything's going to work out great. I had even been messaging apartments, that I liked and stuff, and I was going to go see them as soon as I got there. There's a lot of smoke on the road. Then I get to Prince George, and the air is so bad that I can barely breathe. It feels like after like an hour of being there, like I smoked an entire pack of cigarettes, and I was really worried about the cats. Turns out the people that I knew in the area that gave me the impression that everything was fine knew damn well that it was not fine, and they've had to keep their windows shut for God knows how long while the fires were going on. But no one bothered to tell me. Not only is the air horrible, but it's scorching hot, and I can't close the windows. The air conditioner is not working right, and all the apartments that I had been in communication with had fallen through, so I had nowhere to go. At this point, I'm also super burnt out from not sleeping enough for several days, and I just needed to sleep because I couldn't even think, let alone drive. First, I start contacting other apartments, thinking that at least maybe I can find a place where I can get indoors as soon as possible. But when I started contacting people, I realized pretty quickly that nobody wants to accept someone with cats. I pass out, take a nap, get up, and the air might have even gotten worse at this point, but I realized right away that it was a serious problem. Since I didn't seem to have any other options, I'm like, I just gotta get out of here. So I just drove right back down to Williams Lake. But by the time I got to Williams Lake, the air there was bad too. It was already late by that time, so I knew that I had to sleep there because I wasn't gonna make it if I got on the road. I talked to some people in the area, and they told me that it could change at any minute. So I went to bed hoping that the next morning the air would be better. And when I woke up the next morning, the air was so much worse. I just woke up hoping that the air quality would be better, but it's a lot worse. It went from a 4 to an 8 on a scale of 10 on the air quality map. And 10 is really, really bad. So incredibly much worse that I had to leave right away. Got back on the road, left Williams Lake. I wasn't sure if I was going to go north or south because it seemed like the wind was carrying the smoke south. So if I drove through it going north,
I might get all the way to the other side, whereas if I go south, it might just follow me there. But I chose to go south because I knew that if I went north, I wouldn't have an apartment to live in. I start driving south thinking I'm going to stop in Kensal and maybe I'm going to settle down there. But as soon as I got to Kensal, I noticed that the air had gotten worse there too, so I just kept driving. I drove, and I'm like, I'm just gonna keep driving until the air gets better. And at some point I realized I'm gonna end up back where I started. So here we are, back in Squamish, a couple $100 broker because I had to pay for gas, and on top of it, now my muffler is not working right. I've been looking for apartments for days now, and it is like impossible to find someone in all of BC that will accept cats. There are some pet-friendly places, but they seem to be all booked up. So I have been racking my brain, trying to come up with a plan, and I'm gonna have to get real creative. I'm just absolutely sick of this. I'm sick of the constant struggle. It really shouldn't be this hard, and it feels like it just keeps getting harder.
It's arson. It is arson. This is May 4th, 2023. RCMP has called it a series of intentionally set wildfires.
I have a plan. I just don't know if it's a good plan. I have 10 minutes to get out of here before I get locked in, and it's gonna cost me $100 to get out. Someone was just tailgating me, and I hit a speed bump. Surprise! I called the cops. It's not like I can go back now. I'm way too deep involved in this now.